Hello, I am SquidofLove, welcome back to another Black Desert Guide. Today we are going to take a look at nodes, how to manage them and why you should care about them, but we will also talk about workers and how you can take advantage of this very helpful system. So let's go ahead now and take a look at these nodes. What exactly are these nodes? Nodes are the various locations around the map that you can connect one to each other, and they will give you certain benefits when you want to do some trading, but also if you are grinding in a certain area, if you are farming mobs in that area. In order to activate a node, you will have to invest on that node contribution points. So the more contribution points you have, the more nodes you can have active at the same time. Nodes are especially important if you are looking to do some trading, if you want to become a serious trader later, because they will allow you to gain the maximum profit out of your goods. So if you are looking to be a trader and, for example, want to trade commodities between Velia and Heidel city, you will have to connect these two nodes. Cities and settlements are also nodes, but you don't have to invest contribution points on them. They are activated automatically the moment you step in that city for the first time. But in order to gain the maximum of your profits, you will have to connect Velia to Heidel, and in order to connect these two cities, you will have to activate the nodes that are between them. We can see very clearly how the nodes are connected to each other. There are lines coming out of these nodes and tell you which node you should activate later in order to create a connection between point A and point B. Nodes are not shown on the map if you haven't explored the area, so you will have to take a look around, do some exploration and try to find all the nodes that exist in a certain area, in a certain territory, and see how you can connect one to each other, and of course how will that benefit you. Nodes that are not activated will have white lines coming out of them and will show you which other nodes you can connect to them, and nodes that you have activated already will have yellow lines coming out of them showing you which other nodes are connected to them, but also white lines showing you which other nodes you have not connected yet to them. In order to activate a node, you have to visit that certain node and talk with the node manager. So for example, if you want to activate the node of Coastal Cliff, you will have to go there and talk with the manager, the node manager, which is here, Andre. All you have to do is interact with him, go to node management, and you will have the option to invest contribution points. As you can see, the cost to activate the node is 1 contribution point. I have 7 available at the moment, so if I do that, I will drop down to 6. Do not be afraid to experiment with nodes, because at any given time you can withdraw your investment. You are not losing contribution points, so you can try to connect some different nodes and cities in order to see how that will work with you, and if things are not working properly, then you can just withdraw your investment and take back your points. Contribution points are not lost when you invest on a node. Now, not all nodes have the same function in the game. Some are just exploration nodes that they are there just to connect point A to point B, and others have certain resources. So let's go back to Coastal Cliff and we can take a very good look here and see that it has 2 resources, Fortune Teller Mushroom and Iron Ore. If we want to take advantage of these resources, we have to first invest in the node. Since we are here already, we can invest in the node, and then we can invest again in the resource we want to collect, Iron Ore or Fortune Teller Mushroom. Let's invest to the Iron Ore. It will cost us 1 more contribution point. And again, like before, the contribution points are not lost. We can withdraw them anytime we want, from everywhere we want. You only have to be to the node manager in order to activate the node, but in order to withdraw your investment, you can do it from everywhere in the world. So this is pretty much how nodes are working, and their main benefit is in trading, but also in resource gathering with your workers. We're going to talk about this later. Another good reason to activate nodes is if you are farming in a certain area. So for example, we are going to use this node again. Let's say you are farming in this area or in another area with higher mobs, and you want to have this node activated. Why is that? Because there are more chances to have better drops from the mobs. So we're gonna invest a contribution point on this node, but we can invest also energy. This will increase the level of the node and it will increase the possibility to have some really good drops from the mobs. So if you expect to be at a certain spot for a while, if you are farming, for example, cultists in the Bloody Monastery, it will be wise to go there to the node manager, invest some contribution points, and also put some energy in that node as well. This might increase your chances to get some nice loot, some black stones, and general useful items that you can use or sell later in the marketplace for profit. So let's go ahead now and talk about workers, what they do, and I have to say that this is a brilliant, very helpful system that I have never seen in an MMO before. Workers are gathering the resources you have told them to gather, and they can also craft stuff that you have told them to craft. It is a brilliant system that will allow you to spend your time doing the activity you love. For example, you can continue leveling your character, or you can perform other activities while your workers will gather all the resources necessary for your crafting, and even later you can assign them to do the crafting themselves. At the beginning of the game, when you are new to Black Desert, you will be given some quests that will reward you with some naive workers. You should experiment with them, you should take a look at how they work and how you can benefit from workers in general, but as soon as you are familiar with the system, you should fire them and buy a real worker. How to do that? Just walk to the work supervisor in every city, in every settlement, and talk with him. And this is what we're gonna do right here. Go to contract workers. At every city, by default, you will have the option, you will have the ability to have one worker at least. It will cost you 5 energy to hire a worker. It will cost you 5 energy to see a worker, more precise. So let's accept, and we have been unlucky. This is a naive worker with 0 luck. We are not gonna pick that guy. You want to view another. In order to view another, you will have to spend again energy. But we're gonna do it until we have found a decent worker. There are giants, goblins, and human workers. They have different stats. Goblins are faster in their work. Giants have more stamina. Humans are a more balanced option. You can keep going until you have found a worker you like. You can go with the giant worker if you want. It will cost you some silver in order to hire him, and if you are lucky, you may even get some skilled workers. Before we go ahead and see how you can assign your workers to do a job, to collect resources, let's talk about how you can hire additional workers in a city. In order to do that, you will have to purchase a house, again with contribution points, and turn it into lodging. Lodging will allow you to hire additional workers. This lodging here has only 1 level, so you can hire 1 more worker. If it had more levels, we could level it up and we could hire more workers until you have enough workers in the certain city. But we're gonna talk about housing and how you can level up and how you can take advantage of this, again, very good system in another video. Now, let's go ahead and talk about workers and how you can set them to do a job. In the different nodes around the map, you can see what resources you can collect. So for example, in the imp cave, you can collect copper ore and copper ore. If you want to collect that copper ore, you should go to the imp cave, you should talk to the node manager, activate the nodes that we have talked about it before, and then also activate the resource. Then you will have the option to send your worker. This is what I have done here in the Logia farm and the potato. I have assigned my worker to gather potatoes from this area. You can do the same with every other resource in the game, with every other node. It is wise to use your workers in a city to nodes in that area. You can send, for example, your worker in Velia to gather resources from a node in Serendia, but that will take time to travel. It will not be the most productive way to use your workers. Workers are tied to the cities that you have hired them. You cannot transfer a worker from Velia to Heidel, although you can assign him in a node around Heidel. It will be wise to have your workers working in their territory. As the workers do their job, as the workers collect the resources you have assigned them to collect, they gain levels. And when they gain levels, they gain certain skills. So this skilled goblin worker is at level 4 and he has already a luck plus 0.4. Other workers have different skills, they evolve different skills that will help you to decide how you want to use them. So this guy over here seems to be very good for crafting. The resources the workers are collecting are sent in your warehouse in the certain city, in the certain territory. So if you want to collect them later in one city, you can just use the transport system and send them to the city that you have as a base. Workers are very simple to understand, but they are also very helpful. Later, when you will have upgraded some houses as workshops, you can use them in order to do crafting. Workers are not free though, they have a certain cost. First is the cost to hire them, you have to pay some silver. Then is the cost to have them a house, a roof above their heads. You have by default one worker at every city and you will need to buy houses and turn them into lodging if you want to hire more. But workers also need food and you will have to provide them with that food. As they work, their stamina is going down. If the stamina is no more, they won't be able to work. So you will have to give them food in order to continue working. And the best food for workers is beer. It's also cheap. You can buy it from the marketplace or you can create it yourself at your home. It restores +2 worker stamina. And you will have to have it in your inventory in order to use it and replenish the stamina of your workers. It's very easy to create as well, and this is the recipe for creating the beer. 5 grain to be precise. You can work with potatoes or wheat, 6 mineral waters, 1 sugar and 2 leavening agent. You can buy the mineral water, the sugar and the leavening agent from NPC, and all you need to do is collect potatoes. So literally you can have a worker collecting his own food, their own food. You can have your worker collecting potatoes from a farm or wheat from another, like I have my goblin doing here, and we can see it on the map that is working. You will see the workers on the map, what they do and when they are working. By collecting these potatoes, I can create as many beer as I like in order to have them fed, in order to have their stamina always up. And all you need to have in order to create that beer, in order to cook in general, is a cooking utensil in your house which you have turned into a residence. It is a very easy process that will allow you to keep your workers fed and happy and continue working. An alternative will be to go out there in a farm with potatoes and collect them with your bare hands. But it is easier to have a worker collecting these potatoes for you. So if you have beer in your inventory, all you have to do is bring up the worker menu to see all the workers, and you can recover their stamina using that beer. This is everything you need to know about node management and workers in order to take advantage of these two very helpful, brilliant systems like I've mentioned before. By utilizing the nodes and the workers, you will be able to continue doing what you love the most in the game. You will continue doing the activity you enjoy doing the most, and at the same time collecting resources and crafting items that will help you later. Thank you for joining me. I am SquidofLove, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.